this is a bit of a surprise. We don't normally do weekends, but this is really the only chance I'm going to get because I'm near the end of this bat run. My guest is once again Roland Mann. He is back for more abuse. I must have done something right.
It was fun.
How you doing, man? Yeah. I am very good at making an ass of myself. It's a gift. It's a true gift.
What is it that Monk used to say? It's a blessing and a curse.
Oh no! Actually, yes, it is. I've learned. So my big mouth opens doors, and I've learned this. Like honestly, like the one thing a lot of creatives don't do is talk. And it's weird to me because it's like, if you talk to each other, you get more work. And if you get more work, you get paid.
That's right.
And if you get paid, you're not bitching so much about no work out there.
That's right. Yeah.
It's a weird thing, but it's true.
Well, it's funny because, that was pretty much when I first got started, that was pretty much kind of what you expected. It was kind of like a word of mouth or who you know. Mm-hmm. But I think this internet generation, they're like, I just want to do it and have everybody come to me. It's like, well, you know what? It doesn't really work that way,
But no. So what I tell them is like that's a wonderful plan. So why would they come to you?
Right, exactly.
But yeah, it's like, well, and then they're like, well, what do you mean? Because you're awesome. I'm not saying you're not good, but he's awesome, and he's awesome.
That's right.
They're all awesome.
Yep.
And some of them talk.
Mm-hmm. So
right, and the ones that talk are the ones that are more likely going to get approached because they're more likely to sell their book.
Yep.
That's what it comes down.
Yep. When I was just gonna say when I was editing at Marvel and Malibu, they used to ask me, well, how do you pick the people that you work with, for freelancers. And we had a bunch that we already worked with, but I said, well, here's the deal. I said, the thing about it is, if you send your portfolio, your artwork in, right? You send your artwork in. This was in the days when you mailed everything, right? If you mail it in, send me a nice letter, blah, 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 blah. That's fine, right? But if I meet somebody at a convention, and let's just say your artwork is comparable, both of you are very good, right? You're as good as this person's as good as you. It's not like one of you stands out above the other. But I meet this person at a convention and they're nice and they're friendly and we have a fun conversation about comic books and stuff like that. Who do you think I'm going to hire?
Mm-hmm. I'll tell you a really fun story. I was at San Diego Comic-Con this year. So I didn't even know this. I didn't know he was the CEO of Committed. He's just a dude dancing in the high. Yeah, he has this sign, right? It's okay to make eye contact. He's doing like a little shimmy. Right? And I noticed him. I was like, dude, you gotta. I told him this is how I introduced myself. It's like, dude, you gotta do a full on dance. Right? You're already halfway there. I mean, you gotta pot commit, right? Right. So I spent the next 4 days, like the next three days, trying to sneak up on him with a dance move.
Yeah.
I did the can. His response is, I'll do the can't. Right?
Right.
Then the second day he caught me, but he's grinning, right? Because this is just I'm not trying to do anything other than just playing around. Right? I'm just playing around.
Yeah.
Third day, I sneak up beside him and do like a half-baked Russian dance right to him. Right? He just saw me. He's like, what? He looks at me, just starts breaking. He's like, okay, you broke me. You got me. You got me. Right?
Yeah.
Yeah. Right? Because human beings at the end of the day.
That's right.
And that's the thing that, like, even if, okay, let's just say for the sake of argument, even if I never work with him professionally, right? If I have a project that comes up and go, hey, bud, can you get the word out for me? He's probably going to do that.
Yep.
Not because it's not going to cost him anything.
Right.
Right. Because I snuck up and did a dance move around him.
Yeah. Right. And he'll remember you.
Right. And he'll remember you. Right.
And he'll remember you fondly. It's not like you were telling him, get out of the way,
Yeah. No, I was goofing off. And Alex is a really cool guy. Like, we actually I feel really bad because there's like 2 interviews I could lost on there, and his was one of them, and it made me sad. Well, I tested out my roadshow like while I was in San Diego Comic-Con, and the 2 interviews I really wanted to display did not like, whereas his and Russell Nolte's, and I didn't, and both of them for whatever I was choked.
Oh man.
Yeah, but it happens, right? Like
Yeah,
it does. It happens, and yeah, it was one of those moments where you learn from the experience because that's all you can do, right?
Yeah.
And that's it. You move on, and it makes it like that. But even so, right? I still got a chance to talk to both of them.
Right.
Got to know them a little bit better. That's all it is, man. That's the real. And
people want to work with people they know and that they like. You know.
Yes. They know. Well, they know we'll finish the job first. That's the most important thing. And then the second thing is they like.
Yeah.
It's in that order, right?
Yep.
So, but yeah, and the other thing too. So I met this. So I was at a writers' conference last weekend. Not this one, last one, but previous weekend. And the last day is that they call the Dead Dog, where everybody gets to meet and kind of just do a quick little chat, right? Wrap up. So this one writer was in this corner. She's like, her and her husband are sitting there going, just ignoring everybody. I introduced myself. How you doing? Sorry, I like meeting everybody. I network. It's what I do. Part of what I do. Right? And she's like, you see me here? I don't want to talk to him. I just want to be left alone. Oh yeah. This is what I was dealing with. Go. Well, what about your book? Well, I don't do social media. It is possible to sell your book without it. It is possible.
Yeah.
I'm not going to say that. But at some point, I told her. I popped her husband, by the way. I did pop her husband, because she was very cynical about this whole business. It's like, you guys find. I told her, it's like, whether you want to admit this or not, you got to find a way to stand out. You have to, and one way or the other. And she goes, you don't have to be social media, but you gotta find something. You should get. And I'm talking about like where I'm at and some of the things that have happened to me. I had some really good things happen to me at that convention, which I can't talk about on the air, but I can say they went well. And yeah, so I know where I'm at. I know where I'm headed, and she gives me one of these condescending like good lucks. And I go to her. So this is my side. I said, ma'am, I don't need the luck. Honestly, between the two of us, you're the one that seems to need the more luck than me. I popped the husband when I said that.
It's like why are you going if you don't want to talk to people at I used to do writers conferences, before I took this job. I used to speak at writers conferences like around 2008, 9, 10, 11, something like that. I kind of quit when I took this job, but
sure.
But yeah, it's like, why are you there if you don't want to talk to anybody? Just watch YouTube videos.
Well, she I don't know. She was looking for reasons not to do it, right?
Yeah.
Like I swear, people, like there are people out there that will shoot themselves in the foot, right? Like legitimately.
Yeah.
And you look at them and you go, well, if you're going to shoot yourself about a project you supposedly care about, I ain't going to hire you for any of mine, because that's the other thing. Like people forget this, right? Self-conscious to some degree is forgivable. There's a certain forgiveness with that, but openly sabotaging your ability to succeed, then that's bad. Like that's really right.
Yeah.
You won't deal with it.
Yeah. There's a good story. You ever read Confederacy of Dunces?
Haven't read that one, but I have heard of that. That title has definitely struck my, or I've heard of it. Yeah.
So the story behind it is the author sent out, he sent his manuscript out, rejection, and he committed suicide. And this is, I think, 60s, 70s. It's an older book. And the mom came across it when she was going through his things, and she reached out to a guy at Tulane University and says, "Hey, My son committed suicide. He has a book. I think it's really good. You should probably take a look at it. And the guy's like, man, I don't want to read no, you know, grieving mom's dead son's manuscript. It's going to be terrible, and I'm going to have to tell her. And so he just kept, he just kept putting it off and putting it off. And I think the story was he wouldn't even take her call or something like that. But she was persistent. She just kept calling and kept calling and kept calling. And finally he said, okay, send me the manuscript. The guy read it, and, because he wanted to just get it over with. He goes, I'm just going to read the first few pages, and I'll be able to just tell her, hey. But he just started it, finished the whole thing. They ended, I think LSU Press ended up, or Tulane, wherever he was, I forget, whatever the school he was at, they ended up publishing it, and then it won a Pulitzer Prize posthumously.
Yeah. Well, yeah, because sometimes you never know, but you got to put yourself out there. Like, you have to. And that's the nature of this business. Like, you gotta. We are in the rejection business. It's gonna suck sometimes.
Absolutely.
Right. It's just the way it is.
Well, and the thing I used to always say, and still say in my class, is that here's the deal: when you're sending out your queries, your manuscripts, and things like that, editors are not looking to say yes to you. They're looking to say no, and submission guidelines are there. One of the reasons that submission guidelines are important is because if you can't follow the simple directions of a submission guideline form, I don't want to work with you, right? So that's a lot of places. Do they follow the guidelines? Nope, reject. I'm not even going to take my time to look at any of it. It may be brilliant, it may be great, but if you can't follow directions, I don't have time for it. That's what we would do at Malibu and at Marvel. If you couldn't follow directions, then we would just send it back to you, and because we don't have time. We get a lot of submissions, or we got a lot of submissions, and there was just no time. So we were looking for a way to say no, so we could get this stack down to about like this, and then we could look through that stack with a more critical eye. Mm-hmm, yeah.
Well, yeah, you have to. Yeah. Like that's the thing, right? It's. I realize this game is really about one thing: not shooting yourself in the foot. Yeah, that's what it's really about.
Yeah.
If you can avoid that pitfall, and we all are guilty of screwing this up once. I speak from experience. But if you can avoid shooting yourself in the foot, you will increase your chances exponentially.
Yeah. Oh yeah. Well, and like you said, you're gonna make mistakes. The trick is gonna be can you learn from the mistakes you make?
Yeah.
And don't be afraid to make those mistakes. Don't be afraid to do anything because you're afraid to make the mistake. Because you're gonna make some. So figure it out, learn what you did, and don't do it again.
Yep. And if you're lucky, get some feedback. If you get
that's right. Yeah, absolutely.
Because sometimes, again, so the only thing I'm going to slightly push back on is this: they're not even looking necessarily to say no. What they want to do is they want to save time.
Right, and that's it. It's like I don't have time for all these, so I'm looking for. You can push back if you want to, but I know as an editor that we were looking for the no's. No, because we were, like you said. I mean, we're trying to save time.
No.
I don't have time to go through a stack of stuff like this. I need it to be like that, and I can look at those.
But I think that's at that part of the process. If I'm meeting you at a conference or a convention, I'm going,
that's different.
Hey, Roland. No, but it's no. See, I think that's the real intention. Like, that's when you understand this. You got like one of the hardest lessons about like being a professional in this life is that you're gonna get fired. You're gonna get rejected.
Oh yeah.
And it's almost always not personal. Right. And that is the hardest lesson to learn.
Mm-hmm.
But the thing is, if, for example, I meet you at a convention, this is why I'm pushing back slightly, is this. If I ask you, what are you looking for?
Yeah.
And I'm looking for help, and you can see I'm genuine and I'm earnest, chances are you're going to help me.
Right.
Like chances are, right? I more often than not, you're looking to save time. You find somebody you know and like, what are you looking for? And they're actually asking you, oh my God, this is Christmas.
But see,
right?
that's the difference. So you're meeting me in person and we're having a conversation. I'm talking about those just packages. I don't know. I guess people email them.
No. I know. Like I said, I would say so. This, like I said, this is where I'm. When this is when it gets to that phase, yes, you're looking for no's. But the honest truth is, up until that phase, you're encouraging people to come because you need material too. So it's just like, no, you're trying to save time. Right, you're looking for like the best case scenario, and this is the thing, when you're a complete stranger submitting to people,
Yeah.
right? Like the best case scenario is you minimize the no's as much as possible.
Yeah.
Right, you minimize them because if you can do that, that they're gonna look at your stuff.
Yeah. Well, one of the best examples I can remember of someone having done some research on me, they went to a show that I did, and they did some research on me, right?
Yeah.
And they came up and started talking to me, just having they didn't come up and say, hey, I'm a writer and I want you to hire me, right? They just came up, hey, I've been really enjoying these books, blah 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 blah. So I see you're a Razorback fan. How are the Hogs going to do this year? And we started talking football, and I'm like, who is this person, right? I don't know who this person is, but they know a little bit about me because they're, you can't even, you might be able to see this. Yeah. I mean, I'm a Razorback fan, and and they knew that, and we had some conversation, about it. They were friendly. It was fun. And then at the very end of it, he just said, hey, I've got some comic books that I've written. Can I give you some and let you take them and read them at your leisure? I'm like, yeah, I would love that, And so, I mean,
but again, it's the approach, right?
Yep, absolutely. If someone had just come in and said, hey, can I give you some comics that I wrote? I would have said, sure, of course, I mean, everyone loves gifts, right? Free stuff. But when I got back to my hotel room or whatever, I would not have remembered. But instead, I'm like, hey, these are the comics that the guy who talked to me about the Razorbacks gave me. I'm going to see what he's got,
Yeah, no. So I'll tell you a fun story, like how I got my first meeting with my first agent, first meeting. I literally went to her and went, hey, listen, I need some advice. When agent like this pitch, and because she's I didn't directly pitch her.
Right.
That was the thing. I legitimately asked her for help.
Yeah.
But I was like, how can I get her attention without her feeling like I'm being an asshole?
Right.
Like I'm using her. Because that's the real secret. Right? Yeah. And yes, folks, I realize that in a perfect world, actually, I disagree with this. I take that statement back. The real world is about who you connect with.
Yeah. And
if you can't connect with people in person, you're probably not going to connect with people with your books either.
Right. Yeah.
Right. Yep. That's the reality. Like that has become like something, again, just doing this podcast as long as I have. Right. I mean, in my head, I can kind of tell who's going to. I have my theories of who's going to make it or not, and what I look at is their ability to deal with people.
Right. Yeah. Well, also, it doesn't take a whole lot. Just look at Twitter. Comic Twitter is always really interesting.
Comic Twitter hurts my brain.
Oh man, it's so funny. I just go over there and just scroll through it sometimes. It's like.
Popcorn fuel. Yeah, just popcorn
right.
Fuel. No.
Yeah.
No, just I stay out, like, politically. I've said this, politically I'm an atheist. Like that's literally where I stand. I don't care which party it is. If they go outside and they tell me that the sky is blue and I see a blue sky, I'm wondering what they're trying to distract me from. I'm maybe a little bit paranoid these days.
Yeah. But
that's how little credibility I believe my government has.
Oh man.
So, and that's it. Yeah. I think most sane people are with me. Most sane.
Yeah, I think so.
Some people will say, well, this side's better than the other, and my counter argument to them is really simple. I actually have a really simple thing. The people you dreaded the most, that is the result of choosing the lesser of two evils for the most people. All right. Doesn't work. It does not work. So I've learned this. I just like at this particular point in the ball game, I just look at it and go, if you like, because that's the big one right now. Sometimes, like when I was a kid, it was about God. Now it's about which leader, which grandpa is less insane. And I don't know. And I don't really get the argument, because I think the fact that we have two grandpas running for president next year, I mean that hurts the brain in ways I cannot even fathom.
Yeah.
Right. I mean, I'm in Canada, so I mean, we have nepotism up here. I mean,
Right.
that's what we got. You just got crazy old people, and right. So
Yeah.
I mean, that's it. Like that is beyond
But you're
that.
right. We often, or at least I know we here in my circle, we always talk about, there's never really, or there hasn't really been somebody that I just go, yes, this is my candidate, I want to vote for this person. It's usually, I really don't want that person to win, so I'm going to have to vote for that person.
That's it. That's it, right? And you plug your nose. You might have it like a strong drink before you vote. It's like
right,
and that's it, because you're like, I don't know what I'm picking here, right? I'm at that point now where if I get a ballot, it's like Mickey Mouse,
right,
right. That's it. I like, someone will listen to this and say, you're throwing your vote away. It's like, no, I can't in good conscience vote for any of these guys. So what am I supposed to do, right?
Right.
So that's my opinion, and that's as far as I go. But I'll see, oh my God, Trump did this today, or oh my God, Biden's an asshole, or oh my God, and you're like, what, why?
Right.
It's like, why?
Yeah.
Right? I'm too old. I'm too old for this shit, and I'm 41, and I'm too old for this shit. You're older than I am. What's wrong with you?
Yeah.
Right.
Yeah, it's crazy.
Yeah, that's it, right? I would rather talk about important shit, like what flavor of ice cream is rules. Yeah, that works too.
Yeah,
like that works too. Whatever, like whatever is like the best thing. Actually, I'm going to ask this. Okay. This would be a fun one. We'll go into comic books since politics is depressing.
Yeah.
Do you still have a pull list?
Do I what?
Do you still have a pull list?
I do not. No.
Yeah, I wondered.
No. I haven't had a pull list in 15 years.
Look at it.
Now I buy comics, so I want to. I'm always I'm a Kickstarter guy, and I buy. I support a lot of Kickstarters. I support a lot of independent creators at conventions. I see somebody at a convention, oh, I've never seen your book before, or I got the last one. Let me get the newest one. I will buy independent comics at conventions, but the only thing I really buy from stores, I love my comic shop, but
sure.
I don't buy new comics from them. I tend to buy. I hit their sales. I hit their back issues. I hit their dollar bins. Of course, there's supplies. I'll go in there for excuse me, for the supplies and stuff like that.
Oh, absolutely.
Yeah, but no, I just I ceased to be Marvel and DC's target audience. Like I said, more than a decade ago.
So me, I have one DC book and one Marvel book on my pull list. So I'm a Green Lantern guy. I've been there since I was 8 years old.
Oh, cool.
I've been brain damaged, Roland. I'm good with my brain damage.
I came this close to selling a Green Lantern story, but what happened was I had gone through 3 drafts with the editor, and then when I sent in that 3rd draft for him, he found out that I had been hired by Malibu, and he goes, "Oh, well, I hear you've been hired by Malibu. Good luck." So
wow.
And I revised that script 3 times for him.
I would have killed him. I probably next time I seen him would have been like this. Okay, we're going back. Here, squeeze.
Yeah. No.
Yeah.
It was very, very frustrating. So I was this close to selling a story.
No, I got you. No, I would have been like, oh, it's like, Why is he grinning like an idiot at me? I'm just imagining something wonderful right now, and I'm in the end of that.
Yeah.
But
It was a Kilowog story. I love Kilowog.
oh,
So.
Kilowog's fun.
Yeah.
Kilowog's a fun character. I don't think you could do an ongoing with him, but as a once in a while one and done, he's quite doable.
Yeah,
for my money, for my money, I still think Jon Stewart's the money in Green Lantern. I still think that's where the money is, really. Although I will say the current book with Hal is actually the funniest I've ever read a Hal Jordan. Like it's a legitimately funny book. I'm like,
that's nice.
Wow, and yeah, but doesn't disrespect the property at all. It isn't like Jack Knight. No, it's actually just this is funny, legit, like legit funny.
Yeah,
and it's good, and it's good shit. And it's like, okay, this is a good book. But most of my pull list now is IDW, Boom, and Image.
Yeah,
I'm in Ninja and some Dynamite. So my nostalgia childhood stuff of Darkwing Duck, Gargoyles, and Teenage Mutant Ninja Turtles dominate my pull list. And I have a few like independent books.
Starting in January of 24, you need to add Silverline to that. We're gonna be. The plan was just now. It's like one title a month right now. We're not gonna go out and do here's a dozen books from us. But our plan is to hit Diamond in January, or hit stores in January. So
hit stores in
December.
You probably have already smacked Diamond around a little bit. Come here, right? Anyways, no.
Well, the funny thing is, the last time. So last time I was in Diamond was in 2001.
Oh wow!
Yes, I have the exact same rep that I had in 2001. When I signed back up, they're like, "Hey, well, your rep is going to be Steve Leaf." I'm like, "Wait, he was my rep in 2001.
He's still here?" And
yeah, I know.
Like, and Steve's like, "Yep, I'm still here." And there's some tears in his eyes. I'm still here.
Right? Yeah.
Right.
Yeah. So that was. I thought that was pretty interesting.
What is it? Just are you just doing like a mini series and you're rotating right now, kind of, sort of?
Yeah.
What you guys doing? Okay.
Yeah.
Okay.
We're gonna basically do kind of series of mini series and just kind of see if maybe we can find something that hits and resonates. But we'll do mini series, and then after I don't know, probably 6 months or so, we'll collect them into trades.
Yeah, makes sense. And then you'll be 2 months. It'll be a trade and a mini at that point, right? Every so often.
Right. Yeah.
And you're gonna build your empire until it becomes big and giant size, and you need an obnoxious red cape to follow anywhere. Oh, wait, that's my master plan. That's my master plan. No, I mean that's cool. Like I look at it like I love Kickstarter. I think Kickstarter has some of the best books on the market right now.
I agree.
But I also think that there's still good books in the mainstream comics too. I just think you just gotta pick and choose what they are, and like for me, like for the vast majority of what I'm reading right now, it's my childhood nostalgia, right? And that's okay. I have no problems loving Darkwing Duck. I have no problems loving Gargoyles. Teenage Mutant Ninja Turtles by Kevin Eastman. I'm just in. It's like I've been in since it came back. It's like, you know what? I'm in. My wallet questions me sometimes.
Oh yeah. Yep.
And rightfully so, because there's the only problem with collecting Ninja Turtles is like my X-Men. If I had collected X-Men, I now know what that feels like. I want to get all the books. And some months you're like, oh God, why did I say that? Why did I say that?
I think I've
so much Turtles.
I think I've still got the solo books, the first ones they did. Yeah. I know that I did not buy the first issue because, but I could have. I picked it up and looked at it and said, no, I'm not interested. But my comic shop owner, when I went in, he goes, hey, you got to take a look at that book. It's going to be hot. It's great. And so I picked it up and I flipped through it. I'm like, nah, it doesn't do it for me.
So
that was Teenage Mutant Ninja Turtles #1.
Way back in the day, or the current run?
Oh no, like 1986.
Oh Jesus.
Yeah.
Hey Jag, welcome to the show. He could have owned Teenage Mutant Ninja Turtles #1, the original. That's worth stupid piles of money.
I know it. But
Yep.
yeah, but I wasn't buying at the time. I did so a little bit later, but then I was buying stuff that I wanted to read, not stuff that I wasn't buying to collect, you know.
No,
Or,
no, you know what?
Let me rephrase that. I was a collector, but I wasn't buying for value. I was buying because I want this, you know.
That's me. That's me today. It so happens, maybe because I'm a deep comic snob at the end of the day, but I tend to gravitate towards the books that are worth more money.
Yeah.
I tend to.
Yeah.
Not always. Sometimes there's like, you know this, there are some books that are just fun for the sake of fun. For example, Vampirella is that for me. It's a fun book for the sake of being fun. It's not. You're never gonna read a Vampirella book and feel like it was literary genius. But you're gonna go in. You're gonna have some fun.
One of my former students did a cosplay cover for them.
Nice.
Yeah.
And by the way, kudos to Dynamite Books. They know exactly who they are. They do it. They have a nice little piece of their market. They're not. They're doing quite well. It's interesting to watch where comics are going because it's decentralized. I think I had so San Diego Comic-Con was like a scary epiphany for me.
Yeah.
I went to the young adult presentation. I'm a big reader in general. And I'm a big Victoria Aveyard fan. She's here. I'm going to go watch the presentation. I came out of it feeling a little bit like doom and gloom for traditional publishing, a little bit, because I'm watching what Kickstarter's doing in general. And I'm like, the audience has diversified and it has there's no one spot to hit an audience anymore. There are a whole bunch of pockets here and there now. Right? The Kickstarter audience is a different audience than an indie audience or a mainstream audience, something very different. But it's huge. Like, I cannot, the numbers of books that are sold on Kickstarter is incredible.
It is.
Absolutely nuts. And no, there's no bestseller list for it. There's no times. But there's solid numbers. When I look at something like Brian Pulido does, for example.
Oh, yeah.
You're right. Is I look at his numbers. I'm like,
he does about 4 a year. All of them get about 200,000 or more.
Yeah, exactly. Like he has figured it out completely, totally. He's done it for a long time. He's also one of my shortest interviews, and not because he's a bad guy, but he's just straight to the point. And and I respect that. It doesn't always make the most entertaining interview.
Right. Yeah.
But no bullshit, no frills. I can respect that. Right. Yeah. So that's Brian in a nutshell. And he was nice to he was, and that interview is going up next week, actually, at First Comics. It's actually a First Comics kind of little deal because he's got a Kickstarter going on right now. So I'm like, let's give this to Rick, because Rick, that's Rick's, Rick will appreciate that. And it'll help plug my Patreon and do a whole, I can build my, again, brand, super villain, obnoxious red cape. I got a plan, right? All right. It's the only thing a Spawn I really want is that cape. That cape is stupid. I want to be so obnoxiously rich that I hire somebody to hold that cape.
Yeah.
You're like, that's funny. You can actually, and the best part is I put that in your head. You can actually see it.
Oh yeah. Absolutely.
Yeah. Some guy's just like, what's your job? I hold this cape.
I'm the cape holder.
I'm a cape holder. And look at it, it's like, how'd you get this job? And then there's just tears in his eyes. You don't want to know.
He paid me money to do it.
Yeah. Paid me money, and I feel dirty. So, but no,
he's obnoxiously rich, and he pays me a lot of money.
Yes, he does. There's tears. It's like, my dignity is gone, but I can buy stuff, right? So it'll make you feel better. That serotonin, but honestly, with the way it's going, it's just you can look at what Kickstarter's doing, and it's just it's kind of like what I look at traditional publishing, and I'm looking at an engine, a mechanism that does not quite know how to tap into that audience. They're trying,
but
they don't really know how to do it. And it's like a Titanic. It's slow, right? It's very, very slow. And it's a different audience too. So it's not even a good gauge for your mainstream audience, right?
Right.
Right. It's not a good gauge because that's a collector's audience. And there's there's nothing wrong with that. You got a product they want. I'm not telling you don't do don't do that. Right. But if you're looking to try to hit new readers, that may not be the market you want to hit.
Right.
Or it might be, but how do you hit them? And I'm not sure. This was like one of my little epiphanies at San Diego. Between that, I got drunk with an author buddy of mine, and I ended up meeting his agent. And I heard what the agents are like, at least a couple of the agents are thinking about in terms of Kickstarter. It's just like, I think it's the future / present.
Yeah. Well, when you look, I know Boom just had one on there for some Jim Henson thing. I forget what it was, and they did great. I mean, they did phenomenal.
Oh yeah.
So, and Boom's one of the I would say easily top 10, possibly top 5.
I think Boom is quietly done like some of the coolest books of the last few years. My favorite like ongoings from Boom right now. I love Once Upon a Time at the End of the World. I think Jason Aaron's having the time of his life. I mean, the orgy arc is interesting. It's like this is a bit strange, but hey, I mean, it's cool. But there's a point to the story, so you can see it.
Yeah.
But at the same time, it's a beautiful book. Like the first arc was beautifully well written. This arc I can tell is the breakup arc. Like this is where the breakup stuff is starting to happen with these two. And the one after is we'll see where it all goes when it's all said and done. But it's a really good book, and Boom's just like killing it out of the park right out the bat. It's just like, damn, they have Power Rangers and Buffy, and they've actually done both those properties right. So I mean, they know what they're doing, and and I've had this. I mean, and hats off to them. I think there were Image was remember when Sega first came out, like when Image was super hot with all their books. I think Boom is right there right now.
Yeah.
That's just my opinion, folks. Check out Once Upon a Time at the End of the World and Berserker. I enjoy Berserker. Matt Kent's one of my favorite writers in the business. So
yeah. I just had Ross Ritchie on the Silverline stream, I guess about a month ago or so. So good guy.
Oh, he's a really sweet guy. Like honestly, he's a nice guy. He's a really, really nice guy. Met him. I tried to interview him years ago. We did like a phone interview back in the day. I don't know if he remembers who I am at this point, but that was a long time ago. But no,
I worked with him at Malibu. That's how we know each other.
Ah, gotcha. So, what was he doing there?
Yeah.
What was he doing there?
He was in the no. He was in the marketing department.
Oh, okay.
Yeah. Yep. He I don't know his official title, but he was one of the he wasn't the head. That was a guy by the name of Tom Mason, but he was one of the marketing guys there. I think we had like four and the boss, something like that. So yeah, he was always coming around. I got this idea.
But no, and credit to him, Boom Studios is definitely like his baby, and he's growing.
Oh yeah, absolutely. Yeah. And I think the thing that's clear is he loves comics. He loves the medium.
Oh yeah.
And so of course it's a business, and of course he wants to make money, but he loves comic books.
Sure.
And that's the kind of person you want to be the CEO of a comic publishing company. Yeah,
I mean, you gotta business. Like, there's business. You gotta love what you do. At the end of the day, it's about, do you enjoy what you're doing, right? And as a general rule of thumb, you look at. I don't know. I don't know. I think DC and Marvel are more about IP babysitting, And I say that like
Right.
in a you're not changing Spider-Man, and I understand why. It's much as it sucks. Like I would love to see in real life Peter Parker. I think Peter Parker should be like dad to like Mayday as his daughter is Spider-Man or woman.
Yeah.
Like, I think that would be. I think that's a great progression. But I also understand that you put like 60 years, 50 years into Peter Parker, 60 years almost. You're not going to just throw that away. Like you're just not going to. And same with Batman and Bruce Wayne and Clark Kent with Superman. Although if anyone should have like the coolest dad comic ever, it should be Superman. Like legitimately. Like I think that's who he should be. Like don't try to make him serious, because honestly, the best stories everybody remembers are his silly ones back from the 70s and 80s and All-Star Superman. There's a few other ones, but let's be real. Those are the ones people remember.
Or when he died.
Yeah, it's it. Like when he dies is the most serious one. But it's like, so what Superman stories in the modern era? His death and All-Star. Because that and maybe Birthright. I'm going to give Mark Birthright, but Birthright was good too. But it's not a big list. Like on the modern era.
It's not.
You go back to the 70s.
I was never a big Superman fan.
Yeah. Well, he's hard to relate to. So I mean, he's hard to relate to. He's hard to relate to. So the next best thing you can do with a character like that is put him in the goofiest, stupidest stuff possible, and just have some fun with him. Come on, Jimmy Olsen turned into a monster every week, right?
Yeah.
And Mr.
That's one of the reasons Shazam worked.
Yeah.
Yeah, the movie.
Yeah.
You know, we like the movies. I know the second movie got panned a little bit, but you know, we liked them. They were fun. You know,
they should be. It's about a kid getting the wish to be the most powerful dude on the planet.
That's right.
Exactly. That screams fun. Like Blue Beetle should be a fun movie too. We'll see.
Yeah.
But Blue Beetle should be a fun one, right?
Yeah.
When DC tries to be serious, they don't have the gravity to be serious. I think that's honestly they're wrong. They should be like Nintendo. Nintendo made a decision a long time ago. You know what? We're going to go for kids and families. You know what? There's nothing wrong with going for just that audience. I mean, we may not be cool. Yeah. It's like, we may not be cool. We may not have an edge, but everybody loves Mario Party. Everybody.
Yep. That's exactly it.
Yeah. So DC Comics needs to be Mario Party. Marvel can be like, you know, all the really cool games like Remnant right now and some really cool video games I'm not cool enough to play anymore.
Right. Yeah. And that, you know, that's one of the reasons that we made the decision for Silverline is like, okay, look, all of our stuff is going to be PG-13 because if you can't see it on a Marvel movie, then it doesn't need to be in our comics, you know. And I do mean like the big Marvel movies, like, you know, Avengers and Captain America and all that kind of stuff. It's like, you know, if it's not in one of those movies, or if it's not the kind of content that they can make one of those movies, then that's not for us, you know. Go do it somewhere else, you know.
Yep. Now that said, I think Marvel should have an unbeatable Squirrel Girl ongoing always.
I don't know about that.
You don't know? Yeah, it's like, I don't know. Yeah. Something for a younger audience to grab into. I like if you're a teenager, if you're younger than a teenager, like what comic would you give them for Marvel right now?
Nothing. There hadn't been anything from Marvel in years. Yeah, and that's the problem is they abandoned they abandoned their core base. And I don't mean the old guys, right? They abandoned their coach. Stanley, you can find it all over the place. Stanley used to say their target demographic was 8 to 15, 16, right? That was, but now, but he said also he was writing for the college kids, but their demographic they were targeting was the 8 to 16. Right. And he even said, because there's two things that happen at 16, right? They get their driver's license and they discover the opposite sex. So they quit, they quit reading comics. Right. And so, but the college age, those are the ones that were reading a lot of because they were writing smart comics, but they had content that an 8-year-old could read and enjoy,
Mhm.
but they were writing smart content, so the college kids were buying, and I think that's what's
Yeah, well,
happened to Marvel and DC. They've abandoned that sort of core idea of this is what we do.
well, I can tell this because when I go to, I'm getting rid of like a chunk of my collection at a flea market.
Really?
Right? Yes, a chunk of it, not all of it.
Okay, I got you.
Yeah, right, but a chunk of it. Like again, at this point in my life, Roland, if it doesn't make me happy, doesn't like make me feel something, right? I'm not gonna keep it. It's just at this point, there's someone else should enjoy it. So here's the thing: the collectors, which are older than me, hate my selections. Right? Because I'm picking because it's all like relatively modern, right? I'm not charging full price for them, but I'm not charging $1 either. I'm just like, no, I mean, if I'm not doing that, you're paying something for these,
right?
So, but here's what I noticed, right? Young people, or parents with kids buy from me. They don't buy from the collectors; they buy from me.
Yeah.
Right. And I'm like, and the reason why is most of the stuff I read were enjoyable stories that looked cool.
Yep.
Right. So I maybe like I said, I'm 41. I will never see the maturity age of 20. I've come to terms with that. And I'm good with that. Like I love that imaginative stuff. And that's the thing. Like when you look at the fan base for some of these books, you're like, okay, and this sounds really morbid, they're going to die soon.
Yeah.
Right.
Right.
So these properties, as more of these guys go off into the sunset, some of these properties are going to become less and less valuable. I mean, everybody thinks Batman's cool right now.
Yeah.
Right. And then Lord knows I see enough Batman titles to make me go, yeah, maybe you're overdoing this universe just a touch right now.
Yeah.
But I can see it from the publisher's perspective too, where it's just like, well, it's a hit. We got to keep doing stuff with it. And I understand that to a point, but it's like everything has an expiry date.
Yep.
I remember when Deadpool was the thing.
Yep.
And I remember, and like,
well, if you think about it, even Shazam, Captain Marvel, back in the day, sold like crazy. The comic books. They can't sell Captain Marvel comic books or Shazam comic books today. They just don't. That demographic has moved on, and they didn't do anything really. Now, I think the movies were an attempt, but the problem is that there's nothing out there, today to support the movies.
No, well, because again, it's different. Like you'd have to reimagine Billy Batson now.
Mm-hmm. Yeah,
and Billy Batson now would be a very different person than Billy Batson from the 30s.
Right.
Right. You have to reimagine Clark Kent now. I think the Superman and Lois cartoon, is a really cool attempt at it.
Yeah.
Right. But again, you have to find what makes the core thing. I think the best thing DC personally last few years, and I think they rushed past it way too much. Super Sons, Damian Wayne, Jonathan Kent as like Brave and the Bold, but like their dad, like both of them sons of their dad.
Yeah,
that there was so much they could left on the table there. I think like screw aging either of them. No, honestly, just stay away from that. Keep them young. Keep them working together. Make them like again. You can give that to a kid.
Right. Yeah. Absolutely. Mm-hmm.
Yeah. Right. You can give that to a kid. And that's why I said unbeatable. You kind of cringe, like, not unbeatable screw. Okay, Miss Marvel, something in that range where it's just like, because again, you have to have a book where people can come in and go, I'm not going to be traumatized by what I read.
Right. And see, again, if you go back and look at Marvel and DC in the 70s and 80s, 99% of that stuff you could hand off to your 8-year-old nephew, and not worry a bit about what they might be reading.
Yeah, and that's it.
And it's unfortunate that they don't realize that they have that power, and it's unfortunate.
well, it is. We're not going to lament too much on where Marvel and DC has gone
Yeah.
because that is
Because I don't care anymore.
Yeah, exactly. But I'll have you know, I did keep something from the Malibu line. Actually, I found it, and I couldn't believe I found it. Actually, so one of the books I read way back in the Malibu days was Hardcase.
Oh yeah, really?
Yeah. I found it. It was like, it's like, wow, childhood right here.
Yeah.
Like, right there, right? And it's just
wow.
like, yeah. So that was when I was, that was when I like the Ultraverse line. I know Barbara, I missed all of Barbara's books, except for the Strangers. But no, I was like, yeah, because I think the Ultraverse was really cool. And then Marvel decided to, I don't know what Marvel decided to do, to be honest with you. But
it was
again,
it was just a financial decision. We need to cut something. Let's just cut that. So
yeah, it's just like Juggernaut and the Exiles is actually really cool.
Yeah, I edited that.
Yeah, that was a fun book until they ended it. And then they ended it. It's like, well, we're gonna finish Hardcase, and we're gonna finish Hardcase story here, and it's like, this is a terrible end. Like, I'm sorry, it was just like, oh.
Yeah, see, I didn't do the last 2 issues, maybe because the Marvel had fired a bunch of people, and they put in their substitute editors. And so I didn't do the last couple of issues.
Yeah,
I don't even know how it ends, to be honest with you.
It's Hardcase that why Hardcase wasn't brought into the Ultraverse, and basically did what Rex Mundi did. It was like, and I was like, I was so excited, and then I wasn't, and then I wasn't, and that was the end. And it's like that part of me just died, and everybody's like, oh why? But no, I it's amazing. I'm keeping a few runs from the 90s, a few, not all many, but a few of them. And then you know, my early 2000 runs that I really, really liked, and then a few from the 2010s. Like, it's gonna be like 5 or 6 long boxes still. Like, I have a problem,
right?
But I mean, but from the 13 or 12 long boxes I had, and going down to 6 or 5 or 6 of them, that's healthy. That's about $1,500, give or take. And that's a good collection. I don't necessarily like. Oh, I'm sure I'll pare it down again somewhere down the road, but that's. I can look at it, kind of smile nostalgically at some of the stuff I really liked.
Right.
I still read some new stuff here and there, right?
Of course.
And just and because there's good books in every era. Like, there's absolutely good, you know.
Yeah. No, you're right. You're right.
Okay, so let's ask a tough one. Let's ask a tough one for you. What was your favorite book that you edited from the past? We're not gonna talk now, because now you'll
sure. That's actually pretty easy for me.
Yeah.
I did. I edited Steve Gerber and Mike Plug in Sludge Red Xmas.
Oh my god.
Yeah,
that sounds fun.
It was, oh my goodness, it was of course, Steve Gerber's a brilliant writer. He's probably the smartest writer I've ever worked with. One of the most frustrating, but probably the smartest. And then, of course, Mike Plug. I mean, it was just, and it's a gorgeous book too. It's beautiful. And the thing about it is, you can still find those. You can find them occasionally in the dollar box, and it's sad because it's like, no, this book has so much more value than this.
But here's the best thing about those dollar books, right? They're disappearing too, right? Because the trade paperback changed how comics were collected to some degree.
Yep.
Right.
Oh yeah.
Right. Big time. But the thing is, right, the modern books print runs aren't very big. No one wants them. No one wants them right now. But the key word is now.
Right.
Right. There's going to come a point where it's like, hey, these books are cool. What the hell happened to them?
Yeah.
Right? Because that's how it works. Like, one day, I kept my 1990s Green Lantern run, because that's the one I grew up reading. Right? So there's some valuable books in there, but honestly, most of that collection, that run isn't worth very much right now.
Yeah.
But give it a few years.
Yep.
Right.
It's
Even
like
with trades, it's still like these runs are scarce. They're scarcer than they've ever been.
Right.
So I mean, I can go hunt down the stuff if I'm missing anything, I can hunt that stuff down again if I want to, and if I do, yeah, like I said, that's the thing, like that stuff. Some of that stuff's easy to find because 1990 up to 1995, it's comics were plentifully printed, and after that, it kind of just fades into obscurity, and it's like no one wants these right now. But then one day, who knows? Like, I mean, back in the 90s, the Fantastic Four books, I mean, up until a certain point, you could still get them relatively cheap.
Yep.
And then one day it's like, nope, gone.
Yep. Yeah.
Right. It's how it works. It's how the game works. So
yeah, it's kind of like the stock market. I think a lot of times, and of course, I don't do the stock market, but you know, if you wait long enough, the value will increase. You know, on most things, not all of them, but on most things.
Oh yeah.
And that's the other thing about Kickstarter books too, is that, you know, when you get a Kickstarter book that has a limited edition Kickstarter version, well, then that's extremely limited. And then if the book goes on and does, you know, different, more, better, whatever, then there's like, hey, there's only 100 of those Kickstarter books. Those are valuable, you know?
Well, it's interesting to watch Kickstarters from a collector standpoint, because it's like some of those books are worth stupid piles of money. And you're like, just because of a cover. It's like, okay, weird. Right? But especially if the creator has a good run.
Yeah.
You mentioned Brian Pulido earlier. Some of his Lady Death stuff's was worth money.
Yeah.
Some of it.
Yeah.
Because you can't find it anywhere.
Yeah.
Right? That's just the way it is. Like, you can't find it. So what are you gonna do? It's just like, but that's the nature of the business, right? That's the collector aspect of the business. Is
that's
right. And that's why I think comics have done very fantastic on Kickstarter, because they are rare, they are limited.
Yeah. Yeah. Agreed.
Yeah. So you're moving into the Diamond, which means you're going to be in comic shops next year again.
Yep.
So are they books you've already done on Kickstarter, or are they something brand new?
Yeah. They're going to be obviously different printings, but yeah, all of it at this point in time, everything that I have planned for the first year at Diamond is books that we've Kickstarted. So hopefully the Kickstarter books will increase in value after we get into shops.
That's right, they will, because then people are going to realize, like, some of your books are really good. Like, some of your books are really, really good. So, Barbara's books are fun. Both of them, they're both really good. So, I mean, I've enjoyed those. I've reviewed those. You can go to First Comics News if you want to read those reviews. They're solid. They're old school superhero in the sense that it feels like a comic I read back in the 90s, right? All right, and not the Rob Liefeld steroid,
right?
Right, but you get in, you tell your story, and you disappear.
Yeah,
and it's good.
Yeah, well, thank you. I appreciate that. Yeah. We have fun. You know, that's what we try to do, is just make sure that we have fun. You know, whatever we're doing.
Oh, sure.
So
that's what it's all about at the end of the day.
It is. Yep. Yep. So hopefully folks will jump in with this Kickstarter, because this is the end of the Cat and Mouse run. So this is the wrap up of the miniseries, and so the whole story is there.
So what's the book called?
It's Cat and Mouse.
Hold on a second here. Exploring 50. Oh, okay. And it's a double feature. And Kalis.
Yep. Kalis, Achilles has landed number 2. So
gotcha. So here on a second, folks. I'm almost a trained professional. Almost. Hold on a second here. I screwed up because I am awesome that way. I am amazing. Or something like that. They gave me an award for this, Roland. They gave me an award for my skills or lack thereof.
Yeah.
Right? Yeah. Oh no, the podcast is actually legit. One has legit one. I think he's gonna come back. Hi.
What?
You got thrown out when I was I hit the button to advertise your project, and you ran screaming. Maybe we have this talk at the beginning of the show about creatives not talking about their own work. Here I am, with kind of some.
I was trying to navigate over to a tab so that I could look at the Kickstarter, right? And I accidentally hit the back button. I'm like, no, I don't want to.
I'm like, he disappeared. Raw, folks, live on the air. But anyways,
yeah,
here we go.
Yes. So that was my intent. My intent was to go and open up a tab so I could see where the Kickstarter was currently, but I hit the wrong button.
So this is why I'm the award winner, Roland. This is why right here. Totally, completely. I almost know what I'm doing. Almost. So, yeah, no, it sounds like again, you guys are just. I noticed you guys are doing double features now, like a lot more Kickstarters. I'm assuming for shipping reasons.
Shipping and quantity. We're making a lot of comic books, and so I can't run a Kickstarter every month for one book, and I've already got, after this one's done, I've got 1, 2, 3, 4. I've got 4 of the books that are finished and just waiting for their Kickstarter slot. So yeah, so we do double features, and we offer, if you're like, yeah, I don't care about your double feature, I just want Kalis, right? Or I want Cat and Mouse, but so we do that, So if you're just there for the one, and you're like, I am not gonna, I'm not gonna support the other one. I don't care no matter what. We find that many of our backers do support both of them, though. They're like, hey, I can get both of them for a slightly discounted price than just getting the one of them. So, but yeah, so we had somebody probably, I don't know, this is my 25th Kickstarter. So probably around Kickstarter 15 or something, somebody said, one of our backers was firm, but not rude, said, I really have no interest in that other book. I want to back your Kickstarter, but I'm not going to back it if I have to get that other book with it. And so we're like, well, the idea was that you would get a book that you wanted and hopefully get another one that we could introduce you to, and you would like that one as well. Yeah, I understand, but I don't want that one at all. And so we talked about it amongst ourselves and said, okay, well, let's start offering that. And that way that they can at least get, the book that they want. We won't lose the backer because we're forcing them to get a book that they don't want.
Which is actually, I think, just good business in general.
Yeah. Yeah, I think they'll like it. But it's like, yeah, I think you would be happy with it if you got it. But I'm not gonna force you to do something you don't want to do.
Well, you can't. Like I understand that too. Like again, we're talking about like for what I'm doing, right?
Yeah.
And one of the things I pointed out with I talked to somebody today. Again, if it doesn't make me feel anything, right? I just don't want to have it in my thing.
Right.
I've knocked my pull list down. I mean, it doesn't feel like it right now because I'm in the middle of Teenage Mutant Ninja Turtle mania right now. Right. But even so, it's a lot less, how to put this, you have to kind of make those decisions and also realize, like, you know what? Okay, they're not getting both books, but they really love this one.
Yeah.
Let's make it as easy as possible on them.
Yeah. Yeah. And that's for me, that's what I want. I want somebody to be able to get, because the bottom line is this, right? Because we do so many different books. I know not everybody is going to like everything we do.
Mm-hmm.
So, it would be, I don't know, ridiculous of me to expect that everybody likes every single thing we do. Now, we do have some backers that back, everything all the time. And I hope I trust that means that they like everything that we've done so far, because they keep coming back, and I'm so grateful for them. But I know that there's a lot of folks out there. They're like, yeah, Roland, I don't, you did that other book called Bear. That wasn't for me. I don't want that. But then we had a lot of people back Bear who are like, yeah, I don't want any of your other, superhero books or anything. I liked Bear. So, so I get it. I know not every book is for everybody, but that's okay.
Well, that's the it has to be, right?
Yeah, and I don't want to, as a writer, I don't want to write the same thing. I mean, don't get me wrong. I've got more cat and mouse stories to tell that I'm anxious to tell and I want to tell. But I cat and mouse is not the only thing that I want to write. I want to write other stories as well. So,
and you need that as a creative. Like as a creative, you need to explore different things. It's just, but at the same time, you got to look at. I mean, again, this is where business meets creative, right? Well, if my bread and butter is cat and mouse, and I'm selling a shit ton of cat and mouse. I have to write more cat and mouse.
That's right.
Now, at the same time, I don't need to write a new one right now.
Right.
Right. That's the thing, right? You gotta kind of have to make the intelligent decision of, okay, I'm going to use this to help me with other stuff I really want to do. Yeah. And there's nothing wrong with that. Like I actually had to get on somebody not too long ago. Because he did something really cool. I'm not going to name names. He has a hit, but he feels kind of guilty about the hit, and it's a weird. And Roland's like, what the fuck? Right? We get in our own way a lot, Roland. We really do something.
I know.
Right. Yep. And I told them, like, you have to do this, right, because this is what people are going for, and this is it. He goes, but I feel bad about doing it. It's like, why? Why?
Why? Just do it. Just do it.
Yeah, that's right.
Well, I hate to cut you short, but I've just noticed my clock, and it looks like I got about 20 minutes before I go live on the Silverline stream. So.
Okay, so before it's then let's do this. Let's do this with style then. Okay.
Okay.
So you got two things to promote here.
Yes.
Right. Sir. So let's put your promoter hat on.
Sure.
Ladies and gentlemen, Roland Scott. Let's start with your stream. What's your stream about, my friend?
Sure. My stream. I stream every Sunday night at 8:00 Eastern time. It's just called the Silver Sunday stream. And it includes several ex-Malibu folks. It's me, Thomas Formonti, Roberta Conroy. Barb used to be on it, but she's moved to Wednesday nights. Silverline has two other streams. We've got a Tuesday night stream that's 11 p.m. Eastern time. That's more for the West Coast folks. And then we've got the Wednesday Whammers are Wednesday night at 8 p.m. And we talk about just things, geekly things. Like tonight, we're going to have a geek trivia contest. But we talk about things from, making comic books, stories in comic books, the art in comic books, the comic book industry. Sometimes we talk about pop culture things. I know the Whammers talk about Star Trek and Star Wars and James Bond all the time. But we just kind of cover all the stuff, geek kind of stuff that we want to talk about, and we think others might be interested in hearing.
That's cool. Where can people find that?
Sure. We're on YouTube at Silverline Comics. We're on Twitch at Silverline Comics. We're also on the Madness Network, Comic Madness Network, which is on YouTube. You can find us on Facebook. We'll also stream live on Facebook. We stream live to about 8 different locations.
It's Silverline Comics?
Yep, YouTube. Yeah, YouTube/Silverline Comics, I believe. YouTube /Silverline Comics.
This is the Twitch. So does that work?
Twitch. Let me see. Twitch TV.
I'm trying to funnel people for you.
Twitch TV /Silverline Comics. That's it. Yep.
I almost know what I'm doing, Roland. They gave me a reward,
and I like Twitch. This. So YouTube, holds the videos there forever. But I like Twitch because you can make little clips, and I'm always encouraging people, go make some clips. I think I'm the only one that's made clips there.
No. So we don't have time for a full discussion about this.
Yeah.
But yes, the TikTok effect is real, folks.
Yeah.
It really is. And clips are big.
Yes, they are.
Really, really are. You gotta have some fun with it. I'm actually gonna be doing a little experiment on TikTok this month with my Alice books. I have an Alice in one of my Greek mythology mashup.
Yeah.
I'm going to be playing with it a little bit. We'll see how it goes.
Yeah.
But I mean, I got enough on my plate right now, so it's like, okay, maybe I'll wait till September. But I'm going to be trying something with TikTok at some point. So the other thing is you got your Kickstarter, which I have the link. I magically have the link. So give the magic pitch here for people to.
Sure. So I'm going to pitch Cat and Mouse, since that one's mine. Kalis is a science fiction superhero story about the CIA sending astronauts into space and losing them for 50 years, and then suddenly they show up with superpowers. That's that one. So mine is Cat and Mouse. If you were a reader in the 90s, you might remember Cat and Mouse being a black and white comic book. That was mine as well. These are not the same characters. This one is the story of Brett, who gets a telephone call from his ex-fiance. And she says, hey, my kid sister ran away. Would you go get her and bring her home? And it's his ex-fiance, so he doesn't really want to do it. But he's studying to be a police officer, so he says, let me see what I can do. So he goes to New Orleans, only to find out that the kid's sister has been caught up in a human trafficking ring. So he has to figure out how to get the kid's sister out of the human trafficking ring and get her home. And yes, there are ninjas involved.
So human trafficking, ninjas, and a story about a brother trying to save his sister.
No, an ex-fiance or a guy trying to save his ex-fiance's kid sister.
Okay, so
yeah.
So let's see if I got this right. Guy trying to save his ex-fiance's kid sister from evil human trafficking.
Yes,
and he gets the age of ninjas to do it, or he's fighting ninjas to do it. One and the other.
A little bit of both.
A little bit of both.
A little bit of both.
Okay, that's cool. So that's really, really cool, and that's available right now.
It's available right now.
Yeah. So I will talk to the boss of this podcast. He's a bit of a dick, but I might be able to see about maybe upping the audio release of this episode just for that. And finally, before we wrap up, how can people find you? They want to find you.
Really easy to find me. You can find me most places that you can find Silverline, which is on Twitter, Facebook, all the social media places. You can look for me under Roland Mann, just like it says right there. I think on Twitter, I'm actually Man Roland, but really easy to find. I've got a caricature that looks just like me.
That's right. Does it dance? Does the character dance?
It does not dance. No, it does not.
You gotta have a dancing character at some point. All right. Dude, honestly, good luck with your campaign.
Thank you so much. I appreciate it.
And as you know, actually, you may not know, so I get to tell you my plug before we wrap this bad boy up.
Yep.
So, ladies and gentlemen, this podcast is officially going on the road. It kind of has already started. On my Patreon right now, there are 7 episodes of me meeting people at various locales in Calgary. This week, I'm debuting some of my San Diego Comic-Con footage. After all, I interviewed some pretty cool people there. Even though I missed some interviews, I got quite a few other ones. Got to meet some really great people at the show. And you get to see me meeting these people here now. So you can check them out on Patreon right now. Eventually, this week on YouTube, I'll be releasing the first few episodes there as well. So you can definitely check that out if you like. As we get closer to 1,000. And folks, that will do it. I got 3 more interviews this week. I got some really fun ones coming up. Edward Davis is tomorrow. I have someone in charge of someone working with my first publisher. Yeah. Have a good one, Miss Jag.
Thanks, Jag.
Yeah. Yes. And then finally, Wednesday, I have Winston Pye, who is a book dude. He actually talks about book design in a very unique way. So it's going to be a fun week as we get closer to episode 1,000.
Wow.
So thanks, Roland, I know.
Congratulations on making 1,000.
Yeah, this is 994. Yeah, it's scary.
That's fantastic. Yeah.
Yeah. But for everybody watching, everybody listening, thank you for watching. Thank you for listening. Stay inspired. Keep shining in the dark. And I will see you guys tomorrow.
See you.